From Daily Trust News Center, this is News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, police arrest Abba Kyari as travels of suspended Super Cup continues. Suspected killers of Hanifa Abubakar makes U-turn, pleads not guilty to 4 counts charge in court. How Boko Haram recruits 8,000 child soldiers to fight its cause. And on the foreign scene, former Afghan President Hamid Karzai says Biden's order on frozen funds atrocity against Afghans, calling for a rescind on the decision. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Dashan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in detail. Suspended head of intelligence response team, DCP Abba Kyari, has been arrested by the police. Reports say police arrested DCP Kyari alongside 4 others on Monday. The police arrested him hours after the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency declared him wanted over alleged drug links. The suspended DCP is also under investigation after the Federal Bureau of Investigation of the United States of America indicted him in the case of fraud involving Instagram celebrity Ramon Abbas, also known as Hush Puppy. Similarly, travails of Abba Kyari did not start now. In this new commentary, Daily Trust Deputy Editor Abdulaziz chronicles his high and low moments.
At a point in his career, he was seen by many as a Nigerian version of the American Super Cop Elliot Ness, an incorruptible crime buster on a mission to weed out criminal elements from the society. However, unlike many dutiful men of the security services who barely get heard for what they do, Kyari was heard and lavishly seen. This, for cynics, was the first alarm. Kyari began his ascent to limelight with his appointment as the officer in charge of the defunct Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, Lagos State in January 2011. He went on to carve a niche for himself by busting syndicates of criminals, armed robbers, kidnappers, and internet fraudsters, amongst others. He joined the Nigerian police force as a cadet assistant superintendent of police in 2000 and served at different times at Song, Giri, and Numan local government areas and made local news for his arrest of a notorious armed robber called Ndagi, also known as Spirit. He recorded headline-grabbing milestones including the arrest of kidnapping kingpins Evans in Lagos and Wadume in Taraba, and led the rescue of a relative of President Muhammadu Buhari from a kidnapper's den in Kano. For years, the senior police officer operated not only as a super cop with the proverbial magic wand for unraveling crime, but also a celebrity cop with his life and tasks, including sensitive missions, blogged on Instagram and other social media platforms. It was, however, heartbreaking for many of his fans when, in August last year, details of his close relation with celebrity internet fraudster Ramon Olorunwa Abbas, alias Hush Puppy, were made public. The United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, which released the details as part of its probe into a $1.1 million fraud committed by the conman, indicted Kyari as a partner in the fraud. As sensational as it was, the U.S. government's 2021 indictment of the Super Cop was not the first time he will be accused of compromise, nor is it likely to be the last, going by the most recent scandal which broke out involving him. In the past, Kyari and his team were accused of human rights abuses, molesting suspects, and converting confiscated property. The Super Cop, who initially denied any link with Hush Puppy when the sordid details of their relationship began resurfacing, kept changing the story by editing the Facebook post 12 times. Kyari was subsequently suspended from service and a probe panel instituted to investigate him. But 6 months later, the police authorities are yet to take a stand on the issue, with many commentators suspecting a cover-up grander than the usual esprit de corps, with unresolved allegations of gross misconduct pending against him. The latest accusation coming from no less than the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, linking him with drug cartels has sealed Kyari's reputation as an expert in running with the hare and hunting with the hounds.
In another development, self-confessed kidnapper and suspected killer of 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar, Abdulmalik Tanko, has pleaded not guilty to 4 out of 5 counts charges read to him by Kano State High Court, presided over by Justice Usman Naabba. Tanko and his co-accused, however, admitted to conspiracy to commit a kidnap and deny kidnapping itself and subsequent murder of Hanifa Abubakar. Presiding Judge Justice Usman Naabba adjourned the case for hearing and presentation of witness to 2nd and 3rd of March this year. Prosecution Counsel and Attorney General of Kano State, Lawam Musa, says the prosecution will present all their witnesses before the court to prove the offense against the defendants. Counsel for the 3 defendants, Labaran Usman, says he's ready to defend Abdulmalik Tanko.
Charges were read to them, and of course they denied all of them except one. That is the first charge, which is conspiracy to commit kidnapping, which 2 of them admitted, that is Abdulmalik and Hashimu. Fatima, of course, denied all the charges. Of course, as the law stipulates, the next thing is for us to bring in our witnesses. Of course, the court also agreed with us and adjourned the matter to March. It gave us 2 clear days, that is I think 1st and 2nd and 3rd day of March, for us to bring all our witnesses.
We've marshaled our points by parading lawyers that will defend the 3 defendants in this case. And the charges or count charge read them. They've answered it. Some were denied. So we are prepared to go into hearing on the 2nd to 3rd of March. There are about 5 count charge.
How many has he pleaded guilty?
They acknowledged the first count, while they denied the rest. There are over 20. Only a few came today because of other courts. From the Legal Aid Council, yes, and other pro bono lawyers. Yes, the first count charge that was admitted was conspiracy to commit the offense, which they admitted, while the rest were denied.
Academic Staff Union of Universities has declared a 1-month warning strike to press home their demands from the federal government. The National Executive Council of ASU had voted in support of the strike in a meeting that lasted till Monday morning. President of ASU, Emmanuel Osodeke, announced the resolution of the union while addressing journalists in Lagos on Monday, noting that the nationwide strike followed the federal government's inability to implement previous agreements.
Management information system IDs and non-adoption of the University Transparency and Solution have continued to shortchange our members. NEC therefore resolved to embark on a 4-week rollover total and comprehensive strike beginning from Monday 14th February, which is today. That is the resolution of our NEC and the last meeting that ended yesterday.
A federal high court on Monday in Abuja, presided by Judge Justice Inyang Eko, could not make definite pronouncement on maintaining the status quo as requested by counsel for the Deputy Governor Mahdi Aliyu. The court ruled that the application for maintenance of status quo and the other processes were not ripe for hearing. Justice Eko advised both lawyers that whatever applications or grievances they might have should be taken to the next adjournment date. He therefore granted counsel for Governor Bello Mutawale, Mike Ozekeme, SAN, and plaintiffs' counsel 7 days each to respond to the 2 motions and 21 days to respond to the originating summons. Justice Eko subsequently adjourned the matter to the 10th of March for definite hearing of all pending applications. Chief Judge of Zamfara State, Justice Kulu Aliyu, has inaugurated a 7-member investigative panel to investigate the allegations of gross misconduct, financial fraud, and abuse of power or office against the state's Deputy Governor Mahdi Gusau. Justice Kulu, after the inauguration of the 7-member panel, however, did not give a time frame to the panel within which they are expected to complete the assignment and submit their report. The report.
As part of the impeachment proceedings against the Zamfara State Deputy Governor Mahdi Gusau, the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Kulu Aliyu, has inaugurated 7-member investigative panel. 18 members of the Zamfara State House of Assembly had, during the extraordinary plenary session last Thursday, the 10th of February 2022, unanimously resolved to direct the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Kulu Aliyu, to constitute investigative panel against the Deputy Governor Mahdi Gusau. The assignment of the panel is to investigate the allegations of gross misconduct, financial fraud, abuse of office and breach of the Constitution against the state's Deputy Governor. The Chief Judge, Justice Kulu Aliyu, said she received a letter of request from the Speaker of the State Assembly dated 10 February 2022 to constitute a panel to investigate the allegation against the Deputy Governor. According to her, the use of word shall in Section 188 imposes a duty on me as the Honorable Chief Judge of Zamfara State to appoint a panel of 7 persons who are of unquestionable character, integrity, and honesty to investigate the allegation of the Deputy Governor.
Within 7 days of the passing of a motion under the foregoing provisions of this section, the Chief Judge of the State shall, at the request of the Speaker of the House of Assembly, appoint a panel of 7 persons who, in his opinion, are of unquestionable integrity, not being members of any public service, legislative houses, or political party, to investigate the allegation as provided in this section. Based on the above constitutional provisions, I received a letter of request from Right Honorable Speaker Zamfara State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Nasiru Ma'azu Magaria, with reference number ZAMH/SPK/G/2022/002, dated 10th February 2022, to constitute a panel to investigate the allegations against the Deputy Governor of Zamfara State, His Excellency Barrister Mahdi Ali Muhammad Gusau, pursuant to the resolution passed by the Zamfara State House of Assembly in each sitting.
Chairman of the 7-member investigative panel, retired Justice Tanko Soba, promised to carry out the assignment in accordance with the Constitution and will give the embattled Deputy Governor of Zamfara State fair hearing.
In law, there must be fair hearing, that is, all parties must be heard. In this light, the law and procedure of Zamfara State High Court are to guide both the court and the learned counsel for both parties.
Justice Kulu Aliyu charged the panel to work as a team and concentrate on the issues contained in the notice of allegation against the Deputy Governor. There is no terms of reference and time frame given to the 7-member panel. The Zamfara State lawmakers are bent on impeaching the State Deputy Governor, Mahdi Gusau, despite the court order restraining them from taking any action against the embattled number 2 citizens.
We are now joined by Ismail Mudassir, Group Political Editor, Daily Trust. Good evening and welcome to News Hour. Okay, now the CJ, the Chief Judge, has actually inaugurated an investigative panel without a time frame, to which they will submit their report. What do you make out of this? And is the CJ technically buying time for the court to make formal pronouncement of the matter?
No. The constitution of the panel is in line with Section 188. Subsection 5 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Okay. So I think the CJ, Justice Aliyu Kulu, she's following the Constitution to the letters. And from my own view, if care is not taken, the Deputy Governor is going to be impeached before March 10, when the Federal Court has adjourned his case to. The man is in court. Yeah. He has gone to the Federal Court to seek succor, legal succor, but the case is still there. It has been adjourned to March 10.
Okay, so now with all of this happening, where do you see the fortunes of the governor himself? You know, if, for example, in an event where the assembly, you know, removes the deputy governor and, you know, he gets sympathy from certain quarters or other political parties, you know, could the political fortunes of the governor be on the decline ahead of the 2023 elections?
No, I don't see it like the way you are saying. You know, it will not be on the decline because the governor, Bello Matoale, they come to APC in order to gain popularity and in order to have the ruling party's backing ahead of 2023. So this may not affect its popularity, so to say.
Okay. All right, so but what kind of, you know, precedent are they actually setting? What kind of example are they setting, you know, when the governor and the deputy governor, you know, are not on good terms? You know,
this is not the first time in that Sokoto-Zamfara Kebbi axis. In 2006, when Wamako was deputy to Bafarawa, a similar scenario played out. But in his case, Wamako resigned before he was impeached. But from all indication, if Mahdi, the deputy governor, maybe refuses to resign, he may be impeached.
Okay. So, but isn't it possible for them to, you know, just let everything slide for the long haul, considering that, you know, there'll be elections, you know, come next year?
You know,
just less
the people around the governor are saying that the governor believes that the deputy governor cannot remain in PDP while he is in APC. And don't forget that one of the pillars of PDP in this country, General Aliu Gusau, is the father of the deputy governor. And that explains why the deputy governor refused, maybe one of the reasons he refused to join the governor in the APC. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Group Political Editor, Daily Trust, Ismail Mudassir, for your perspective on this particular matter.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving on. At least 8,000 boys and girls have been recruited by Boko Haram. United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, is calling on government to sign a handover protocol for children encountered in the course of armed conflict in Nigeria and Lake Chad Basin region. The World Organization made the call when marking the International Day Against Child Soldiers in Maiduguri. The report.
At the peak of insurgency in Borno State, more than 8,000 boys and girls were recruited by armed groups for different roles. The conflict era impacted negatively on the psychological well-being and denying them access to education as well as violating their rights. For the International Day Against the Use of Child Soldiers by non-state armed groups, UNICEF is calling on stakeholders to negotiate the release and reintegration of children back to the society and most especially prevent the recruitment of child soldiers.
But the reality today is that many girls and boys are still in custody. Many are also abducted and used as soldiers, armors, spies, cooks, and farmhands. Many girls have been forcibly married by their abductors, beaten, raped, and violated in ways unimaginable.
Stakeholders at the event commended the organization for recognizing the day and pledged to continue the support of rehabilitating and sponsoring basic knowledge, skills, and education of released child soldiers in the state.
We call them the standard operation guidelines. We take as we reintegrate them. They are not just released into the communities. We bring the communities' major stakeholders to participate in the process. And before these children are reintegrated, they undergo through series of MPHSS and other support. I mentioned religion, I mentioned psychological, even psychiatric.
Child soldiering has so many causes, and unless and until we identify such causes, we will continue to have such problems of child soldiers. One of these problems of child soldiers is poverty, neglect, revenge, and the conflict itself.
The message to armed groups and state actors is to understand that the right tools for children are pens, papers, watercolors, and not guns and bombs.
Thousands of travelers from Taraba and other states in the northeast were stranded as truck drivers blocked Wukari Zaki Biam Federal Highway over alleged extortion by security agents. The drivers also alleged that they were forced to pay multiple taxes to revenue collectors in both Taraba and Benue axis of the road. Reports say the truck drivers conveying farm produce and cows blocked the road at Joita village located at a border between Taraba and Benue states from Sunday after alleging that security agents at checkpoints beat one of their members to coma before he refused to yield to their demand to give 1,000 naira. According to reports, the driver lamented that there were over 95 checkpoints from Jalingo to Katsina-Ala, and at each checkpoint, truck drivers were forced to pay between 2,500 naira to 3,000 naira. Meanwhile, when contacted, spokesperson of Taraba Police Command, Usman Abdullahi, said he is not aware of the blockage of the roads by truck drivers. Rivers State Primary Healthcare Management Board says it has doubled its efforts in continuation of her commitment to take COVID-19 vaccinations closer to the people and bridge the gap of low vaccination records of COVID-19 vaccine uptake in the state. The board says the move will address some of the gaps in knowledge and concerns on COVID-19 vaccines. The report.
While residents join the world in celebrating Valentine's Day, Rivers State Primary Health Care Management Board takes its sensitizations and free COVID-19 vaccination campaign to Rumo Dumaya Market, popularly called Rumo Koro Market. The board, in partnership with Rivers Media for Health, took the advocacy for the uptake of COVID-19 vaccine is busy mobilizing traders who turned up in their numbers to take the jab. Speaking to newsmen shortly after taking the vaccine, some of the traders say that due to tales they have read on social media on the alleged negative effect of the vaccine, they were afraid to take the vaccine initially, but have been motivated to do so after a better explanation on the efficacy of the vaccine to save lives.
This is my first dose. But before now, I was like having double mind about the vaccine. But I made up my mind because I've seen that the vaccine is highly important to us as citizens of Nigeria, and at the same time, we need to take our vaccine so that we can be able to have our things done normal and also obey the rules and regulations of the country, and also have our health and be safe in all ramifications of life. And at the same time, so that we can be able to do things with our fellow neighbors, friends, relatives who have taken, and to also save their life also.
Yes, I just take the first dose. Before I have doubt on the vaccine, I even tell my madam not to take it. But now I will advise her to come and take it, as I just reached home now. And I advise other people to come and take it because it is for our prevention of our health. People should not doubt it because there are so many issues going on social media that people should not take it, they are doing this for that. Oh, that is not true. People should ignore that and come and take the vaccine for the betterment of our health.
This is my first dose. What prompted me is because of the adverse effects this virus has had on people. It has taken lives and has caused economic setback. And the harm it has caused, some nations have not really bounced back. Let me just say, we're still, especially Nigeria, we are yet to recover. I will advise everybody to please take this injection, take this vaccine because it's very important. Nobody knows what this year will come up with. But I pray that nothing happens again. It should end and end once and for all. But then prevention is better than cure because it's very contagious and you can't even imagine just a touch on the surface, you contact it. Sneezing, you contact it. We never can be too careful enough to prevent this disease. So it's important we take it.
A consultant family physician in Port Harcourt, Dr. Simeon Urian, also stressed the need for all residents of the state to get vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus. Dr. Urian, who is also the head of Department of Family Medicine, Rivers State University Teaching Hospital, said that the erroneous belief about the vaccine is slowing down vaccination in some parts of the state. He called for improved campaign on the importance of the vaccine to everyone, irrespective of age and religion.
Reluctant because of the so-called conspiracy theory behind COVID-19 and the vaccine. But as concerned everything new, uptake will not be that easy. So continuous education about the importance of the vaccine. Yes, vaccine will not stop the infection, but it reduces the effect of the infection. So I want to advise people that they should listen to the health expert and then do the needful by submitting themselves for the vaccination so that they will not regret, oh, I wish I have taken the vaccination.
Officials of the Primary Healthcare Board said the state government will continue to intensify advocacy on the importance of taking COVID-19 vaccine in order to prevent further spread of the pandemic across the state.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Price of cooking gas cripples gas plants. Do stay. Welcome back. You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. You heard that suspended head of Intelligence Response Team, DCP Abba Kyari, has been arrested by the police. You also heard that self-confessed kidnapper and suspected killer of 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar, Abdul Malik Tanko, has pleaded not guilty to 4 out of 5 counts charges read to him by a Kano State High Court presided over by Justice Usman Naabba. Some more news. Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has approved the appointment of Senator Lekan Balogun as the 42nd Olubadan of Ibadan land. This is contained in a statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Taiwo Adisa. The statement says the approval followed the recommendation by the Olubadan in Council and wished the newly confirmed Olubadan a peaceful and eventful reign. Governor Makinde also approved the revocation of the amended Ibadan Chieftaincy Declaration regulating the selection to the Ibadan or Olubadan of Ibadan Chieftaincy stool. Moving on to energy, fuel scarcity in Ilorin is biting harder on motorists and residents as most of the filling stations are full of motorists lining up on long queues for hours. At some of the stations around Offa Garage, long queues of vehicles could be seen as residents and motorists try to outdo one another to be attended to. They lament that the shortage is affecting their daily activities, making them late to work, even as they urge government to find a lasting solution to the fuel scarcity.
Station this morning before I got here, and some are even collecting extra charges, some are selling cake, some are black market and all those stuff. But yeah, buy your fuel. What do you think is nice? The solution is the federal government. They are the one that can help us. So we can't help ourselves.
Seriously, it has been affecting us because I am saying myself, as I see, I'm late for office originally, and I didn't have any in my car. And I can see, I glory to God for this rain oil because so far when I was there, it did not sell any jerry can. So that's why I'm unable to. I'm able to buy now.
Okay, it took you like how many minutes, how many hours before you get fuel?
I came here like around 45 minutes ago. Yes.
So what do you want to tell the federal government, sir?
That they should please, because all this in myself, I didn't understand it. So, but I know they understand it very, very well. So let them at least put more effort to make it easy for us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
In the same vein, motorists spend hours on long queues to get fuel in Kaduna. The motorists say the situation needs to be addressed by the government in order to alleviate their hardship. The report.
Kaduna Metropolis, like many cities in Nigeria, is experiencing long queues at the filling stations, especially within the metropolis. Though some filling stations are closed due to non-availability of the product, others are busy dispensing fuel, but with long queue to contend with. Some of the motorists who spent hours on the queue narrate their ordeal.
I have spent more than 3 hours on this queue, and the line is not moving at all. And I don't know the reason. And the people selling black market get access easily to the fuel. They surpass us and go in. Immediately, they will be giving fuel. This is cheating. I was at the filling station since 8 a.m. On getting to the pump, they said the fuel is finished. I left and went to NNPC in Mando. I did not get fuel. Now I'm at Angon Shanu. I have already spent over 1 hour here. I hope to get the fuel.
So far I've spent like 30 minutes to 1 hour. Yeah. And still there's a lot of queue in front of me, honestly. And I don't know when I'm going to leave here.
As the fuel scarcity bites on them, the motorists call on the government to bring an end to the scarcity.
I am calling on the government to help us and make things easy for us and reach an agreement with the suppliers of fuel. And rumors have been going around about them going on a strike. We just want the government to do something about the situation. We are tired.
We call on the government to help us, get us out of these difficulties, because it has not been easy for us, honestly. Yeah.
At a particular filling station within the metropolis, the camera captured black marketers counting their gains, while others are on the queue waiting endlessly.
Still talking energy, some marketers of liquefied petroleum gas in Gombe State say hike in prices of cooking gas is severely affecting their business amidst low turnout of customers. A kilogram of LPG in Gombe sells at 650 naira, a slight reduction from 800 naira per kg sold in the past. Ibrahim Ismail reports that some sellers in Gombe lose customers who cannot afford to buy cooking gas because of the hike. The report.
Although the price of liquefied petroleum gas LPG has dropped from prices ranging between 800–750 naira to 650 naira per kilogram, some Nigerians are still not satisfied with the slight decrease. Trust TV's visit to one of the largest gas plants in Gombe show low turnout of customers, and plant operators say their business has been affected by the hike in price of the LPG.
Our customers have reduced. Some people say they can't really afford to pay for gas. They better go for the normal local way of cooking. So we are suggesting that if the price rate can reduce, and the price rate right now, for now we're having the price rate about 664 per kg. Then it's about 780, about 800, 804, and it was not a good thing for us as a company, because we had to lose some of our customers on this issue of gas price. So this year, when the gas got down, we got some customers started coming back. We are asking more, so if we can get more of reduction of price, I think we'll go higher and people will enjoy our services.
Some customers share different opinion on the little decrease in price of LPG in Gombe.
The situation we found ourselves regarding the price of gas, the thing is getting high due to some reasons. We don't know where the problem lies from. But now the things are coming down compared to previous prices. My hope is the thing to come down from the past that is going to be sold. That we are selling it, let the thing come down again. That is our hope.
Na zo na refilling gas ana, amma dai farashin ya dan bambanta da sati uku da suka gabata a baya.
I refilled a gas cylinder here, but there is a variation in the price compared with what was obtainable 3 weeks ago, because we used to buy a kg at 750 naira. Now it is 650. We are happy with the price decrease, but we expect it to be more cheaper. However, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority said the LPG price will drastically reduce in coming months.
It's all matter of supply, demand and supply. But I know that the government is making frantic effort to make sure that gas is made available for Nigerians at a reasonable price. Because the supply base is what is causing all this. If there's any of the petroleum products, if there's scarcity, then you can negotiate the price.
Between October 2021 to December 2021, Nigerians have tested the bitterness of hike in price of LPG across the country. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
The Nigerian Customs and Excise has proposed 3 months 3.1 trillion naira budget target for 2022 with Apapa, Tinkan and One ports to get scanners to enable it generate more revenue service in 2022. The proposal is revealed during the budget defense of the Nigerian Customs and Excise on Monday in Abuja. The report.
It is a yearly ritual for ministries, departments and agencies of government to appear before the National Assembly to defend their budgets. Chairman, House Committee on Customs Leke Abejide commended the Nigeria Customs Service for generating above their target in 2021, but tasked them to do more, especially with more scanners that can aid activities and improve revenue for the service. He urges the customs to engage more on social corporate responsibility with communities that host the services so as to win their confidence and cooperation.
We shall call for Smith Detection Company to do the needful by giving us and your technical team and the budget, the cost which we shall look into and incorporate into the 2022 budget. Even though we understand that e-custom is coming with 135 scanners, but we cannot throw away national assets, and also we cannot continue to wait endlessly for e-custom that has not commenced. Another area we want your budget to capture is corporate responsibility, so that the communities where Nigeria Customs operates and even people that work with customs can have a sense of belonging.
Customs boss Hamid Ali said the service has concluded plans to deploy mobile scanners to the 3 most important ports to boost revenue generation. He also outlined key areas of improvement that the service is working on to ensure effectiveness in its revenue drive.
That is why we want to detach completely this. That will give the freedom of analysis to everybody, and then it removes that human factor in it. But these ones that we have now, no matter whatever Smith tells you, they will never bring it to the capacity that will now be able to integrate in this. And we are going to very soon. Our plan in the e-custom is that the first phase of its launch operation is the deployment of scanners. And we are expecting 135 scanners to be deployed nationwide. So if you add 135 scanners to the present one, we don't need to repair scanners that may not meet the modern day operation.
Lawmakers sought clarification on some issues raised by the customs boss, which he promptly addressed.
We have received, enough encouragement from the suppliers of these scanners, and of course, Smith detection that they can put them back to work. Let's try and see that we put it in this budget so that they get work. Then I need explanation, Mr. CGC, on the 114.39 billion return earning. Because if you look at your expenditure for 2021, you have a budget of 257.18, out of which you achieved only 59.64.
I listened to Chairman make his opening remark, and there was a plea for more ownership with the communities, and which will further increase the custom community relationship. And I would think that the amount you have allocated for community relations and grant here is too low compared to what you're giving to international communities.
Most of this pangolin and elephant tusk comes through them and it finds its way into Nigeria. So if we are able to build their capacity in terms of provision of this and train them, they will be better off to protect their borders, and therefore the influx of this will not come to us. So it is not just we are giving them, it is there's a win to it, and that's why we are spending that much money in order to protect our borders.
The committee unanimously adopted the proposal with a promise that it will be passed by the House when it is finally presented at plenary.
Hard times occasioned by economic realities coincide with this year's Valentine's Day, a special day celebrated across the world to shower different kinds of gifts to loved ones. Trust TV's Nafisa Abdul Al speaks with Nigerians on how they cope celebrating the day in recent times.
Although the true origin of Valentine's Day is vague, according to the legend, the day is celebrated to mark the death anniversary of Saint Valentine, who died mid-February in 270 AD. It is said that Saint Valentine was a priest who defied emperor's orders and secretly married couples to spare husbands from war. However, in the world today, it is celebrated as a day of love.
Valentine's Day to me is a day where you extend love to your loved ones, your neighbors, people you don't know. It's just a day you show random love to people.
I don't really believe in a Valentine's Day because at least for somebody who actually know the value of love, every day should be a Val Day. But at least to me, I think today is just a mark of honor, just to celebrate for those maybe actually they have not been doing good to their loved ones or thereabouts. At least today would be a special day for them to have an hangout, to make a special package for their loved ones, and you know, to have a fun.
This day means so much to me. About 12 years back, I decided to, because I've been hearing of love and Valentine and all of that celebration, is the day of agony and a day of joy. In agony, let me get to the agony, a day where a lot of virgins will lose their virginity carelessly or unknown or unknowingly to themselves. Many break their home because of Valentine. That is what makes it sorrowful in some other part, but it becomes a joyful day to those that understand the meaning of love in their natural perspective.
I guess it's a lover's day, but in general, love flow. So to me, it's not really that, because every day is love.
Don't know so much pertaining to the background of the so-called Valentine, but I know all this while that people have been saying that showing of love is what Valentine is all about. And the only way we can show love to each other is by extending part of what we have, what God has blessed us with others that are less privileged in the society. And those in authority, and they are expected to be living above board, not like the situation we are having in our country right now, that a lot of people are suffering. You can see the bus stop. I am coming from Cuba. A lot of people are suffering seriously because of fuel scarcity or so.
It's not about just about to surprise the person you loved, particular person you loved that you felt for. So you surprise that person, make the person happy, make him or her feel like me. I'll make him to feel that he's perfect person for me.
For me, I feel it's overhyped. It's maybe celebration. It's celebration of love, but some people take it to the extreme, that kind of thing. And for me, I don't even have plans for that.
Valentine's Day, celebrated February 14, is characterized as a day when lovers express their affection with greetings and gifts. Nafisa Abdul Al, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. We'll be back right after this break.
Coronavirus disease, COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 virus. Most people who fall sick with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms and recover without special treatment. However, some will become seriously ill and require medical attention. The virus can spread from an infected person's mouth or nose in small liquid particles when they cough, sneeze, speak, sing, or breathe. These particles range from larger respiratory droplets to smaller aerosols. You can be infected by breathing in the virus if you're near someone who has COVID-19 or by touching a contaminated surface and then touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. The virus spreads more easily indoors and in crowded settings. Maintain a safe distance from others at least 2 meters even if they don't appear to be sick. Wear a mask in public, especially indoors or when physical distancing is not possible. Clean your hands often. Use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Stay home if you feel unwell. Get vaccinated. Properly fitted masks can help prevent the spread of the virus from the person wearing the mask to others. Masks alone do not protect against COVID-19 and should be combined with physical distancing and hand hygiene. Protect yourself and others around you by knowing the facts and taking appropriate precautions. Follow advice provided by your local health authority. This message is brought to you by Trust TV.
Welcome back. Let's join Chamung Dabeng for business news.
Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers has threatened a strike action if the 621 billion naira NNPC Infrastructure Fund does not align with its members' demands for better roads. This was disclosed by NUPENG in a statement titled "Issues of Safety of Petroleum Tanker Drivers on Wheels and Unscrupulous Moves to Divert and Misappropriate 621 billion naira earmarked for the repairs and reconstruction of identified 21 critical roads," signed by its president, Comrade William Akboreha. According to NUPENG, the 621 billion naira fund was approved because of its demand, and it owes its members the responsibility to ensure that every kobo is accounted for. It also called for an immediate review of freight rates to reflect the operational realities of the petroleum distribution value chain, warning that its National Executive Council has commenced immediate mobilization to all its members for resumption of earlier suspended action. It has been disclosed by Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele at the end of the Bankers Committee meeting that raw produce exporters will no longer be eligible for foreign exchange rebates. Instead of offering rebates to portfolio investors, the bank announced intentions to provide loans to farmers who want to expand their plantations. The CBN governor said granting forex rebates to exporters of raw produce has the capacity of creating inflation. The CBN said it remains open to operators in the agriculture's downstream sector to acquire loans. Emefiele stated that manufacturers seeking to import machinery would have all the foreign exchange they need, as entrepreneurs can now go to a bank and get a loan at 5% through any of the bank's actions, according to the governor. International Monetary Fund says central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, like eNaira are a better option than cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoins and other altcoins. In a new statement, IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva, CBDCs are gaining momentum after moving from theoretical to practical explorations. Currently, there are about 100 countries that are exploring CBDCs with support from the IMF. According to Georgieva, global central banks are committed to minimizing the detrimental effects of CBDCs on financial intermediation of credit provisions. She further stated that the CBDCs studied are not interest-bearing, which makes them useful but not as attractive as traditional bank deposits as a vehicle for savings. In addition, the IMF has previously raised concerns about crypto assets threatening financial stability and consumer protection and eating into banking sector market shares. As part of the institution's global project, crypto regulations will also be swept and synchronized. House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on the State of Refineries in Nigeria is built to invite top federal government officials, regulators, marketers, workers' unions, oil companies and other stakeholders in the petroleum sector in its investigation of the inability of the country to refine its crude oil. Those who have been penciled down to appear before the committee include the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami San, and the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timi Praise Silva. Also on the list are the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, Auditor General of the Federation, Adolphus Agugu, and the Director General, Budget Office, Ben Akabwezi. The committee had begun an investigation of the current state of the country's 4 refineries and the amount spent on the turnaround maintenance of the national assets. Chairman of the committee, Ganiu Johnson, after the inauguration of the panel on February 3rd, 2022, had disclosed that stakeholders in the petroleum sector in both the public and private sectors would soon begin to appear before the lawmakers. That's all for Business News. I am Chamun Dabeng.
Away from Nigeria, former Afghanistan President Hamid Karzai has called a White House order to unfreeze $3.5 billion in Afghan assets held in the United States for families of 9/11 victims and atrocity against the Afghan people. Karzai is seeking the help of Americans, particularly the families of the thousands killed in the September 11, 2001 attacks on the United States, to press President Joe Biden to rescind last week's order. He said the people of Afghanistan share the pain of the American people, the pain of the families and loved ones of those who lost their lives in the tragedy of September, but said withholding money from the people of Afghanistan in their name is unjust, unfair and an atrocity against Afghan people. Recall that President Biden's order signed last Friday freed $7.1 billion in Afghan assets currently held in the U.S. to be divided between September 11 victims and humanitarian aid to Afghans. Still on the foreign scene, Saudi-led military coalition fighting Yemen's Houthi rebels says it has destroyed a telecommunications system used to control drones in the rebel-held capital, Sana'a. The bombing on Monday targeted a ground station for satellites in the vicinity of the telecommunication ministry in northern Sana'a. The coalition said the Houthis are using the Ministry of Telecommunications and Information Technology in Sana'a for hostile operations. The coalition further stated that the raids are in response to a drone attack on Thursday on Saudi Arabia's Aba airport near the border, which left 12 injured by falling debris after Saudi air defenses blew up the bomb-laden projectile. The coalition had warned it would strike positions from which the Houthis launched drones in Sana'a and asked civilians to leave civilian areas used for military purposes. Let's join Adeni Ajishafe for sports update.
Akwa United Media Department says Coach Kennedy Boboye has parted ways with reigning MPFL champions, Akwa United, after a poor run of results in the current Nigerian Professional Football League season. Boboye walked away after Akwa United's goalless draw at home against Heartland FC on March Day 12 in Uyo. Their third successive draw at home in 6 matches. The former Raymond Stars coach joined Akwa United in 2019 after John Obu and won Akwa United club's first MPFL title during his spell with the Uyo-based side. Boboye was in charge of 70 games including CAF Champions League, Aitio Cup and MPFL with 31 victories, 26 draws and 13 defeats. during his spell with the team. President of the Confederation of African Foot Golf, CAF-G, Agbo Clinton, has called on sportsmen and women to embrace foot golf sport. Clinton says Africans are ready to participate in the game of foot golf as 16 countries participated in the awareness program about foot golf sport held in Cameroon. Foot golf sport combines two sports, football and golf, played between individuals or teams. Confederation of African Foot Golf hope African countries will make it to the 4th World Cup taking place in Orlando, USA in 2023. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
We've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.